you can be the best salesman in the world, but if you only have a couple leads, trying to close those. But if I have 10 times more leads than you, then I don't have to be that good of a salesman. This is kind of a little secret sauce. All
right, what's up, guys? I'm here today with Spencer Claeys, based out of Seattle, Washington. Spencer, before we dive into it, first thing I always like to ask my guests is just to learn a bit more about your story and what got you into this industry.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of went to college like everyone else, and then actually ended up joining the Navy Reserve, and so I was doing that throughout college. And then as soon as I was done with college, I was like, there was going full-time active duty or just like getting a job in an office, and I was like, neither of those sound good. So I just wanted the quickest way to make money, and I was just did some research online. I kind of knew a buddy who kind of got me into it. I heard he was making like $900 a day cleaning gutters. I was like, shit, that sounds awesome, like better than the $12 an hour or whatever I was making. So yeah, just went to the store, bought all the stuff, started knocking doors, and then kind of started the business. And then from there, just started running Facebook ads, and then really kind of took off. So yeah.
That's awesome. What year was that you started it?
That was 2020. So like when I
Okay.
first started, like it was literally like the week before COVID had hit. So then that was actually kind of another reason why I got into the Facebook ads so heavy, because I was like, okay, well, door to door is not really an option. Like no one's coming to the door. They think I'm going there to, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I was like, shit, well, I got to get in front of people somehow, because I knew people wanted it. I knew people still needed their stuff done, their stuff cleaned, roofs done, gutters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, Facebook ads, I got to make this work. So I did what it took, got the courses, figured everything out, got some mentors, and yeah, figured it out.
Yeah, that's great. Honestly, it was probably good timing, because if you can build a business well and successfully in an economy like that where things just weren't going too well overall, then once the economy is looking great and people are more open to spending money, then your business will just do that much better.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I say that a lot of times too, with even now, like winter, like some places it's a little slower, or we might have the recession or whatever. But this is the time, if you can make it now, like you can make it anytime. So like challenges forge us as men. So got to pick up the challenge, I think. So
Yeah, 100%. But cool. So you basically sidestepped, I mean, not much of a sidestep. Immediately when you started the business, COVID hit, so you couldn't door knock. So you just started off with Facebook ads. And did that kind of go well right off the bat, or did it take some, I guess it was a different time 3 years ago running ads, but how did that approach go?
Yeah, I mean, because I kind of knew how to run ads, and like I'd done some Google ads in the past, but then Facebook, there's definitely a certain way you want to run ads for pressure washing and service business. So definitely a little bit of a learning curve. Definitely burned some money. Did the classic, like, oh, it doesn't work. Spend $100. Oh, it doesn't work. Facebook doesn't work. But then as soon as I actually pulled my head out of my ass, did some learning, did some research, did some studying, had some mentors, like I said, then I figured it out. And then I was like, okay, this is how it works. And then it's literally just like finding the right slot machine, and you got to just test a few different things. But once you find a winning one, you just keep putting money in, keep putting a coin in the slot, and you're going to keep getting returns. So
100%. Yeah, I love that you said that, because so many people get to that point where it's like, this doesn't work, and then they stop, like they just give up.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that they get to that point and then they just keep going, like yourself. You kept going, and it obviously worked out super well. But I hope anyone that's listening to this, if maybe you did get to that point and then you stopped and just assumed it doesn't work, that's not the case. You need to spend more money, spend more time testing. You need to go all in on it, and as long as you keep going and you're consistent, like it will pay off.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it's like everything in life. It's a numbers game. You just got to get your ad in front of enough people and get enough data where you can see, okay, this many people have seen it. This is my, my cost per acquisition. This is how much I'm spending, how much it cost me to get a job. And, basic math that, I don't know, math wasn't my favorite subject in school, but now it's like, you can do easy math and it's like, oh shit, well, this is making me money. So I'm going to pay attention. So.
Yeah. And obviously on the back end, things can get really confusing, but if you just think about the simple principles, like if you have two different images, completely different, one is getting you a better cost per lead than the other, put more money towards that one thing that's doing better. That's super simple. So if you just repeat that same concept in the ad copy, the targeting, every part of it, then if you just spend $100, you're not going to have enough data. But if you keep going, you keep being conscious of like what kind of metrics you're getting, then you're just going to keep getting better and better. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, no, spot on. Yeah, I mean, because I've said it before, but half the time I don't know what's going to work. Like, I don't know what the market is thinking. Like, sometimes there could be a storm coming, or it's going to rain, or, you know, something's going on in the news. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what people are getting done. So you just got to keep throwing your hook out in the lake, and you got to keep fishing. You got to keep having ads out there. You got to keep testing, and yeah, follow the data. Like you said, you know, sometimes an image will do better, or video will do better. So just let the data speak for itself.
Yeah, exactly. And the point you just said is like, sometimes you don't even know what's going to work well. And a lot of people are basing their content off of what they like, when in reality, it doesn't matter what you like. It matters what the market likes, what the market will respond to. So exactly what you said, like, doesn't matter what you think about the ad. If the market responds well to it, that's what you should be running. So that was a good point you mentioned.
Yeah, I love that. I think I got that from like Dan Kennedy, because like, yeah, you'll see a lot of guys, they'll run like their business card or run a flyer with all these numbers and stuff, which not only does it look exactly like an ad and people are going to scroll past it, but also Facebook doesn't like it because it's not engaging at all.
Yeah.
So people, you got to really think about the platform you're writing ads on. And if we're talking about Facebook, you got to make sure it's engaging, people like it, and you don't necessarily want to make it look like an ad. So that's where we're running a lot of just before and after images, videos of us doing it, you know, stuff that would look kind of natural on the platform. Like, someone's just scrolling, it's like, oh, like, you know, maybe that's one of my friends just cleaning their thing. It's like, oh wait, that guy, that looks really good, like, what's he doing? And then, you know, they read your copy and they're like, oh shit, I need this done. So
yeah, it's a split-second decision whether someone's going to stop or keep scrolling. So if they're scrolling through and you're disrupting their scrolling, like you're clearly an ad, then they're just going to keep scrolling. But if it looks like a really nice before and after picture actually interests them, or satisfying video that a lot of people obsess over nowadays, like if you can do that, then they're going to scroll to your post and they're going to keep watching because it's interesting, and they might like move forward with something. But if it's just straight up an ad, a bunch of information, like people are just going to scroll away because immediately they know it's an advertisement.
yeah, no, totally. You gotta blend in, but not too much. I mean, you don't have to, like, you definitely, when it's time to make the sale, I mean, or have an offer, you have some sort of offer, definitely. But yeah, you exactly, like that split-second decision. You don't want to turn someone off right away with the big flashing lights, like, oh, buy my stuff. You know, you want to kind of subtle, like, gotta bring them in, draw them in, and then go from there.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, man. So I imagine a lot of the understanding of these concepts helped a lot to your growth on social media. Last I checked, which was somewhat recently, I believe you're at about 300K followers on TikTok, almost 78,000 on Instagram, 170,000 on YouTube. So you're absolutely killing it on all your social media platforms. I guess I'm curious, what would you attribute your growth to?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same stuff, just posting every day, very consistently. Because and I've said this before, because I'm actually writing another book on, you know, growing your social media and stuff too. And it's, I mean, viral, all that stuff, like growing that, it's like, I don't know what's gonna work. Like, I don't know if I post a video if it's actually gonna do well. So, but you know, it doesn't really matter. You just keep putting stuff out, keep testing different things. Yeah, just every day, just kind of. And, you know, I mean, yeah, the stuff we do is pretty cool. It's really satisfying, the pressure washing stuff. So I just kind of took that content and then just made it my own, just made it kind of my own spin, not just cleaning a deck, but I'm also like, what other story can I tell? What other funny audio could I put up there? So, but yeah, just posting every day pretty much is the biggest thing.
Yeah, consistency in anything you do is obviously huge, but social media, especially, like, very rarely, like if you see a page that's like blown up, it's unlikely that they have very few posts unless they're like someone famous. So they must have, posted frequently and often consistently without giving up, and they slowly started to scale up.
It's kind of cool because they kind of to coincide, like social media and running ads and stuff. Because you kind of got to know, you start to know a little bit more about how social media works, and you kind of know a little bit more about psychology, what's going to make people click, what's going to make people stop and watch your video. So that same principles apply straight into running Facebook ads. So if you can make a good TikTok video, you can make a good Facebook ad, something that's engaging. And then oftentimes you can run a TikTok. This is kind of a little secret sauce. I'll be posting all these TikToks, and then if I see one that does really well, like, oh, well, it's obviously engaging, people like it. I'll just run that as a Facebook ad, put a good offer up there, and then that's kind of the winning formula.
Yeah, a lot of people are not posting consistently or posting at all because they're scared that's not going to do well. It's going to look bad, or they're going to be failing in social media terms. But in reality, like, you're going to learn a lot from that. Some of them are going to take off. You're going to get views, you're going to get followers, and you're going to learn what works and what doesn't work. And then what works, like, you can just look back at that, see, why did this convert well? Why did I get a lot of engagement on this? And then you just, like you said, you use those same exact principles in your advertising. Because if it worked on, these free platforms, it's going to work on the paid platforms, because it's the same type of consumers you're dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, human psychology. People are still looking at your stuff. But yeah, and that's for people who, it doesn't work the first time, like, welcome to the club. Like it never worked. Nothing ever works the first time. Like you gotta realize that, whether you're posting or running ads or even, talking to girls or going fishing, it's like, there's so many things where, like you said, it's just a numbers game. So you just got to keep showing up, putting in the work.
Yeah. With anything you do, you're going to suck in the beginning. And usually, like, you'll suck like the first 6 months, the first 100 attempts, like you're going to just suck every single time, but you learn so much from that eventually you get better and better, and you keep going, you keep being consistent, and you're going to become a beast at it. So at this point, like, most of your TikToks maybe not go viral, but most of them get a good amount of views because you understand what works and what doesn't at this point. But you didn't understand that in the beginning. Like, you had to go through the learning process.
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know. And so, but and then I was reading an interesting book recently. He talked a lot about outcome independence. Like, there's so much things that we can't really control. You can't really control, like, if someone's going to click on your ad. You can't really control if, like, when you knock a door, if they're going to even answer the door. You can't control some certain things, but you can control the amount of work you can put in. That's really the only thing you can control. I don't know, someone could click on your ad first thing and buy it, or open that door, and you could be your first sale of the day, but you don't know. You just got to put in the work. So, because you really don't, there's only a few things you can control. So
yeah, like with door knocking, for example, you go knock on 5 doors and every single person says no, and that doesn't mean, I'm 5 for 5. That means everyone's going to say no. Like, if you keep putting the work, you keep doing it, eventually you're going to get a yes.
Yeah, like, law of averages would state, if a certain amount of people are going to say yes for that, I knock on their door, every no is going to leads me a little bit percentage closer to that yes. So if I'm like, 50 doors takes me to get a yes, well, shoot, once you're at 20 doors, you're 2 times more likely to get a yes. So I like to look at the little things like that.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, people are so afraid of the no, but once they realize every single no gets you close to the yes, then you'll be excited to hear the no, because you're like, okay, on to the next one, and I'm that much closer to getting that yes.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I mean, I tie lots of things back into other examples, like fishing or girls too. It's like, if you're talking to a girl, you'd rather just get the no right away. I don't know about you, but if I'm like meeting up with someone for the first time, I don't want to waste my time. If it's either gonna be yes or no. It's like, if it's no, okay, great. Let's move on to the next one. There's so much money. There's so much opportunity. There's so many women, so much opportunity, abundance out there. And you got to believe that too. That's why, I've said it before, like, I don't really believe in competition. Like, I believe in just being the best, and it's really only competing against ourselves. You're really only competing against yourself yesterday. You can't control what some other guy's doing. You can't control the markets, but you can't control yourself. So I think that's really important. Something that really changed my life when I started looking at things like that, like not being a victim of anything, just literally, I can control my life. I can control everything that I do. So.
Yeah. And you briefly touched on the whole abundancy versus scarcity mindset. And a lot of guys have the scarcity mindset where they're fighting for a customer and they're pissed off if that customer goes with the $99 guy. And it's like, there's so much work out there. Just move on to the next one.
I love that. Like the Facebook groups, man, like, all those guys suck so bad. Those guys are like all get bickering at each other. I mean, I've been in the Facebook groups too. Don't get me wrong. We've all been there, but I have one too, but I don't really like those because they're all just complaining, yeah, about the $99 guy. They're just all, you can just see the scarcity just coming in their brains. They're all worried, and that's just not how to, it's not how to live life. It's not a happy existence, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Just smile, like, okay, well, next one, it's fine. I
Yeah.
tell that all the time to my customers if I'm quoting a job and they're like, oh, well, I'm actually going to get another quote. I'm like, great, do that. I'll see you next week then. I don't really care. I don't do any hard selling because I have like 10 other quotes like we've talked about where we're good at Facebook ads. You don't really have to do a whole lot of selling because you're good at marketing, which I've mentioned that in other platforms, but yeah, marketing is the king. If you can get the most amount of leads than everyone else, like you're going to win. So you can be the best salesman in the world, but if you only have a couple leads trying to close those, like, but if I have 10 times more leads than you, then I don't have to be that good of a salesman. So
Right. Cool. So that leads me into something else I actually want to dive into with you, which is basically how your personal brand has been affecting your pressure washing business. So something I'm sure you've seen before online is those viral businesses where they sell something like a credit card and it's customized and they shout out the customer in the video. So people will purchase that product just because they want to hear their name in the shout out and get a ton of views on it and stuff. And I'm curious if you're kind of leveraging that in your pressure washing business, where maybe you shout out their name or something and people literally reach out to get a job from you just because of that whole like kind of concept.
I'm not sure if I've seen that like credit card thing, but
I know there's other industries where that's like a popular thing too, where they'll say, hey, I'm putting together a package for X person's name right now. And they shout out that person as they're like preparing the order. So credit cards was like that, the main one that I've seen, but there's a few different businesses like that. I don't know if you've done it in pressure washing, but I've seen it in pressure washing and it definitely does well if you have a good following.
okay, like it'd be like I'm shouting out, like if I was going to pressure wash your house, I'd be like, oh, I'm cleaning Michael's house right now, I'm putting together this package for him, like, and but you kind of wanted me to say your name or
So
something,
like,
or
let's say I was the customer and I wanted to, I saw your page, your viral videos, you shouting out other people. And I'm like, oh, I want to be shouted out and I'm in the
oh,
area.
gotcha.
So I'll be more inclined to move forward with you.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't had that happen. Like and I don't, anytime I do have any sort of like, I kind of keep my page pretty clean. I try and keep it very like I've been reached out to obviously by like different sponsors and stuff, but I've never really been interested because, I have my own stuff, I have my own message. I don't really want to like, I'd rather sell my own stuff. I got some books and stuff. I know those are going to have good information because I wrote them, and I don't really want to sell, like, I get like a lot of like the games. I get people want to sponsor me, like, oh, sponsor this new app. It's a game, and I don't play games, so I'm not gonna like show something that I don't do.
Right.
But
Okay. So you don't get too many like people in your like immediate area that are seeing your ads and reaching out. It's mostly like just people across the world.
yeah, so as yeah, like I'll just get random messages. I mean, yeah, just tons of messages, emails, and stuff. What's annoying too, people does some people are sneaky. They'll find your phone number too, and they'll call you. And there's like, oh, I saw your TikToks. Like, I was wondering if you could like help me with this. I'm just like, shoot, bro. I mean, I got like other options on my website. If you want to book a call, we can go from there. But I mean, and then as far as the other point, I mean, I've definitely gotten jobs from people like, oh, I love your TikToks. Like, I saw you on TikTok. Like, I thought I'd reach out. Could you clean my roof too? And I'm just like, sweet, yeah, for sure. So that definitely does happen too.
Gotcha. Okay. What you're just mentioning right now reminds me of something I want to touch on earlier when we were talking about Facebook ads. But I know you're pretty big on running messenger ads, and we're kind of the opposite. Like, we love lead forms because we love collecting their information and remarketing to them, being able to follow up a bit more through those different means. But I know you're pretty big on using messenger ads. So I guess
Yeah.
why is that?
I've just found that it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier for me because and Facebook likes it a lot more because you're keeping people on the platform. So that's these platforms' goals. They hate it if people are leaving. So if you can keep people on Facebook's platform, it's gonna reward you. It's gonna give you like cheaper clicks, cheaper messages. So that's kind of why I do it. And also like I don't have like the biggest operation. Definitely if you're trying to have like the next multi-million-dollar company, yeah, you should totally be getting the information, which I do that offline, I'll send them an invoice to get their email from there. But and the cool thing about Facebook too is they still hold all that data. So if someone responds to your ad, Facebook, they immediately take note. Next thing you know, like they run that same ad to all their neighbors, and then in 6 months they're going to run the ad to that same person again. So I get a lot of customers, they click on the same ad because Facebook keeps showing it to them like months or even a year later. So, but yeah, both of them work definitely.
Yeah, I agree with your point. It gets you a lower cost per lead for sure. You might have to weed through some people that clicked it by accident, but you'll be at a lower cost per lead regardless. So on a smaller operation, it could definitely make sense. But once you do try to get to a larger operation, like being able to collect their name or their phone number, their email, like right off the bat, definitely kind of helps in the sales process. But I'm curious, like, what does the dynamic of your business look like right now? Like in terms of like team members, like what the team looks like?
Yeah, I mean, right now, like it's pretty much just me. Like I had a guy helping me yesterday. Sometimes my brother will work with me, but honestly, I do so much online now. Like I got so much, like I'm doing that different things. I'm also running other guys' ads. So it's almost equal, like the amount of money I'm making online versus like how much I can make doing roofs. So I'm kind of phasing out the roofs. Like I'm doing less roofs than I was when I was a young chap. I'm 26 now, but don't plan on doing the business forever. That's always kind of been my outset, because everyone's got a different goal, and I kind of saw from the beginning. I was like, like I love this business. I love cleaning roofs. But I think my time for that is coming to an end. Like no one wants to do it forever. I mean, obviously, but you can either hire people or transfer into something else. But I've kind of chosen just to like put myself online, transfer out of it, and then I don't know, we'll see where it goes. Maybe I'll hire someone or sell the business. I don't know. But I really like what I do right now. So I kind of like my balance. I'll do one or a few jobs a day, come back, work on my business online, posting videos, writing books, and it's kind of been a good system. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of people just want to keep scaling up and they can see themselves in this business for decades, which is great. And if that's the case, then you definitely want to start bringing on more team members, increase your advertising, like collect more information in the advertising. But being that like you're not sure what you want to do, which a lot of people are in that same exact spot where they don't know what they want to do, bringing on like a team and scaling up operations in that way could definitely cause like a huge headache if you decide you don't want to do this, you want to get out of it or anything like that.
yeah, I mean, you just got to figure out what you want, and that's another reason why I do love this business, is because like today, for instance, I had a job, but my girlfriend needs to be picked up at the airport. She came in a different time, and so I can just message my customer like, hey, I need to reschedule the job. No problem. Like you have total control, total freedom over your life. I mean, you are still like in the business, so it's still at some levels just a job, but still you're making 500, sometimes $1,000 a day if you really, or even more if you want to hustle. But so it's, for me, it's really giving me that freedom, and I'll be forever grateful. So that's why I know I'd still recommend anyone getting into it, even if you don't want to do it forever. I mean, that's fine. I mean, no one's going to do anything forever. So just get out of it what you can, build your money, make some money as quick as you can, put that money and that energy into other things, and that's how you build things.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So the last thing I wanted to dive into was kind of your perspective, which I know for the most part you agree with me, in terms of like coaching and mentorship, which is super underlooked, undervalued in this industry. But honestly, it's a huge component in success. Like you look at the most successful people, they have coaches. So I wanted to get your kind of perspective on that whole concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, you can see anyone who's actually successful, knows what they're talking about. They've had some guidance in the past, some mentorship. It's a delicate balance, because I feel like there's a lot of people that I'm sure you've seen. They just ask you like my favorite, I'll just get do you have any tips? I'm trying to start this business. Do you have any tips for me? I'm just like, bro, like I have so many videos on this. Like, I have no idea what your situation is. Like, asking those certain questions is is going to hold you back. But then if you can take it, like I had one mentor at one time where I was paying him like $1,000 a month, and I would get on a call, like he had a call once a week. And so you had to write your questions out. You had to be ready. But those little questions, you know, really helped like pivot my whole business. And next thing you know, I was able to like quadruple what I was making online. And so like just little tweaks, you know, that can really help. So I think, well, people need to be a lot more open. Definitely make sure your information is coming from a good source. So we've all had probably some bad experiences with coaches too. But as far as, yeah, like I always like to hate on to talk shit about the pressure washing groups, because they'll always post like, oh, these guys are giving advice. How dare they? People are buying their courses or books. And it's like, dude, what are you guys like? They're you can see their mentality is so closed off, because it's like, I mean, you have coaching. I have some courses and some books that I sell. It's like, whatever the price is, you know, $200, $50, $7 is, I think, my lowest book. $7 for a book, and it teaches you how to get jobs every day, or $200 for you. But it teaches them it adds extra thousands of dollars per month. It's like basic math. So you just got to look at it from that point. And if you're not getting the return, then obviously, you know, maybe find another coaching, but that's just super simple. If you're getting money from it, which you should, and if it's good information, you will. So that's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. The example you gave where you said you were paying a coach $1,000 a month, you're doing one call a week. Like I was in the same exact situation. I was basically paying my mentor at the time $2,000 a month for one call a week, but I made a good return on it because I showed up and asked the right questions. But there's people like where if you're asking these basic questions, then you show up to a call like that and you're not going to get anything out of it. Like you'll get super basic questions out. You won't get any return whatsoever because you're not asking the right questions. But as long as you learn how to think for yourself, you can go on Google, YouTube, like you can do research yourself and find those basic answers. But then the higher level questions, which you're not sure what to do at that point, that's when you speak with like a mentor, like what you did. That's when you're going to grow so much quicker.
Yeah, no, totally. Because you think about any like major athlete or anything, it's like that person had to already start playing the game, and they already had to start getting good before then the high level coach stepped in. You know, you're not going to have a high level coach like try and find like some kid, maybe if they're like some prodigy, but for most of us, like we just you got to start doing something. You know, that fine line of like not letting yourself be overcoached. You have to have enough gumption in you to start. Like you can't really teach the hustler mentality. You either got it or you don't. You're either willing to get up, do what needs to be done, and, you know, make the money that needs to be made. So some people don't really have that, and they just try and hide behind all these questions that they're going to try and ask. But, you know, for you and me who paid lots of money, you value it more, and then you're going to show up, you're going to really take the information to heart because you paid for it. Because anything that's free is not valuable. We don't value any free information, really. So that's really it.
Yeah. If you put it in this perspective, like make it so simple, take a 10-year-old kid, give him 10 years, and he has no coaches whatsoever. He's solely relying on himself to progress. And 10 years later, if he's consistent, he'll be pretty good. He definitely won't be amazing for the most part, like statistically speaking, but he won't be amazing, but he'll be pretty good. But instead take that same kid and he has a decent coach at first, maybe middle school coach, and then he goes up to high school coach. And then now he has a college level coach, NBA level coach. Like he's progressing over the years. By the end of that decade, that 10-year that I just outlined, he's going to be insane. He's going to be amazing. He's going to have progressed so much quicker. So now in this business, if you don't have a coach, like you're going to be that kid who really has no help and is just relying on himself. But if you're always seeking knowledge and seeking help, you're going to grow so much quicker.
Yeah, no, totally. Seeking knowledge, seeking help, always. And that's something that, definitely super important, because and it doesn't matter who you are, because even that kid after 10 years, I mean, he probably knows what he's talking about, but there's still maybe some other newer guys on the block that like knows something. Like I believe you should, like who said it, Thoreau, maybe it was like, or no, Emerson, someone. He's like, it was from like How to Make Friends and Influence People. It's like everyone is my superior in something. So you gotta learn something from everybody. So I think a lot of people get too close-minded. They're like, oh, what can this guy teach me? And it's like, well, I think I can learn from anybody. Like, I don't care if they're brand new on the scene and they've kind of figured out like a cool new way to like run an ad or something. Like, shoot, I want to learn that. You know, you and me, we've bought other books, we bought other courses. Like, I'll buy anything I see. I'll buy any pressure washing or any Facebook ad thing that I can see. I don't care who it is. I'm going to learn from them. So
Yeah,
and
I do the
gotta,
same exact thing.
yeah,
Even if I only learn one bit of information
yeah,
from that, that one thing can, who knows how much it'll result in. If it changes my close rate 1% over the course of a few years, that could be tens of thousands of dollars.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. And that's a winner's mentality right there. You're thinking long term. And you really put ego aside, you know. Oh, what does this guy know that I don't? I see that so often. You know,
Yeah.
some of the older guys in those Facebook groups, like, oh, what did this guy know? It's like, that's just such a silly mentality to have. Like, you're never, yeah, maybe you have a little bit of success right now, but shoot, there's always a little bit more you could have. There's always
Yeah.
more success.
It's funny, just the other day we got a comment on something, maybe one of our ads, but some guy was saying he's already doing like $10,000 per month. Like, why would he need our help? And I mean, like, if you want to get to 20,
you want to do $20,000 a month, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
$10,000 a month. Congrats. Like, why? Yeah, why not 20,000? Why
Yeah.
not 40,000? I don't know. Whatever the fuck your goal is. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So
yeah, but unfortunately, a lot of guys in this industry think that way. So I'm hoping anyone who's watching this, please cut that out and get rid of that mentality, because that's going to keep you stuck in the same place. If that's what you want, then continue thinking that way.
yeah, it's just getting their ego up there. I mean, because yeah, maybe you have a hustler's mentality and you're getting after it, which is awesome. You know, you got that dog in you. But I just think, yeah, I don't care who it is. Like, I've been doing a little bit of like I trained like jujitsu and stuff as well. It's like you see this there too. Like, it could be someone brand new. They could teach you a cool little move, a cool little thing. It doesn't matter who is teaching the information, as long as the information is good.
Yeah,
you can get something out of anything. So
for sure. Well, that was great. I think we can wrap it up on that note. But yeah, if anyone wants to connect with you or check you out on social media, where can they find you?
yeah, I mean, you can go to any platform, major platform, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Like I said, I'll have that new book coming out soon. But yeah, if you want to check any of those platforms out, got the link in the bio there. If you want to see other stuff, I got a little podcast been putting out there too. So all that's good stuff.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Once again, thank you for hopping on today.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.